Hello and welcome back to my 4th episode of my Minecraft Let's Play series. So in the last episode, we managed to conquer the Nether and we terraformed our brand new starter area. In today's episode, I'd like to bring you off this other side and I'd like to build the perfect animal barn which will house sheep, chicken, cows and pigs. And then we can slowly start expanding our way eventually to our castle. This is going to take a multitude of resources, and we're obviously going to have to do our riverbed on the other side. We're going to have to plan out our path. We're going to have to actually raise our structure. So I'm going to follow a similar technique to this side, using the same blocks for the path and obviously the same mud textures for the riverbed. So we are just going to check straight away about what blocks we actually have, as it's definitely looking like we're going to need to go and get some more. Definitely of our muddy mangrove. We've got a bit of mossy cobblestone for our path. We've got some mud for our path. We might need some more. We've not got any more coarse dirt. I'm just going to steal some gravel from here, I think. Because after all, this will need terraforming anyway. I shouldn't need loads of coarse dirt, just enough to finish texturing our path. Even a stack might do us, to be fair, but we'll just better safe than sorry. So we'll have enough coarse dirt for our path. We'll have enough mossy cobble. Do with a bit more dried mud and a bit more muddy mangrove roots. Oh, and logs. Obviously, spruce isn't a problem. Let's start this mission by heading over to the mangrove and obtaining some more resources. Okay, so we've made it, and we're after these blocks, and I guess a bit more normal mud wouldn't hurt. But it's mainly the muddy mangrove roots and the logs. We can craft muddy mangrove roots, which makes this mission a lot easier. So I think the plan is to just start chopping down some trees and just work our way through them. Okay, so that's looking as I was saying, that's looking much better. So we've got enough resources now to do our riverbank for that area. I'm now going to take some granite because it's an expendable resource, and I'm just going to kind of plan out some shapes. So I'm thinking this path just comes along kind of straight. Just coming along this way. This hill needs to be taken out a little bit. That should be long enough for now. And then I have a bit of a barn. Maybe, I don't know how big, say that big. And I'd like it to be fairly long so it actually fits all of our animals we need. So we'll say something like maybe this big, and then we could have a bit of a field maybe, because we do need some wheat to actually supply our animals. So maybe coming round this way, all the way back to connecting with the path. Now this shape could be subject to change. There we go, so we've got a field there. Just realised it's quite hard to tell actually what everything is. We'll worry about that after. So we've got our barn, our path, a wheat field, and then following the edge around we could just have a couple of trees. Just add a bit more greenery and kind of diversify our farmland. So like usual, I'm going to go grab some chests and I'm going to put them to one side, because before I do path or the riverbed, I'd like to build our farm. So for this barn, I'd like to make use of what blocks we've already got. We've already got a lot of oak, a lot of spruce, and we have actually got quite a bit of sandstone. So let's just verify these statements before I get ahead of myself. So we'll just chop all these trees down quickly. So I have left this tree because, let's be real, who can be bothered chopping that down? But we've got a few stacks of oak logs, which is good. We just need to replant them for sustainability purposes, of course. Okay, so I'm thinking to get this started, we're going to lay it out with our spruce logs, and then we can swoop in with the rest of our materials. So I'm thinking we have spruce log, block, spruce log, and then a nice big space of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the same again. And then coming along to our left side, I think what I want to do is go along every maybe 2 or we'll go with 5 for now. We'll go with 5. I think something like that's long enough. I'm just going to flip that on the other side and then we'll sleep. So I'm just going to grab some more logs from this big tree, and then we'll raise them up and put some beams across. Perfect. And now I think we should just strip them. Now I think this is looking much better. Now I actually want to use our mossy stone brick and add just a simple base layer around the bottom of it, just so it adds a bit of a foundation. We'll just clear some space for this, and then we'll go and obtain our brick. There we go. So we've got a stack and 12, and that should do us. If I take them and just bring them around the whole way through, putting my spruce on top. So now I think I'm going to finish off these walls by putting another layer of spruce, oak trapdoors on the inside to add as windows, and a spruce trapdoor on either side. Just something simple like this. There we go. I like that. So now I'm going to do on every other one, and I'll cut back to you. There we go. So now that we've got that done, I'd just like to fill in these quickly with just a very simple design. Something extremely similar to this. In fact, there we go. I think something simple like that works, and I'll just bring the signs across. There we go. So if I just do the exact same on the other side. Okay, so we've got the base to this structure. So now we just need to do a roof and our additional walls and maybe a bit more detail here and there. So I think now the plan is I'm going to go and obtain my resources. I'm going to jump right into a time lapse. This is the song for you. And there we have it, the finished product. I think this barn's looking awesome. Plenty of space to work with inside, which leads us to the next job, which we'll worry about in just a minute. Nice little balcony entrance if we want. A few windows, a nice weathered roof, and a little spire, which eventually we could put a bell in. It's now time to work on the inside. So I think first things first, I'm going to fill the whole ground with coarse dirt. Much better. So now we've actually got something to work with. But before I start planning where I want what, I think now it's important we put some doors on, just so we know what space we've got to work with. I'm thinking just a simple dark oak design, maybe with some nether brick walls, just for a bit of colour. So I'm just going to go grab some netherrack, which we can start smelting and leave in the furnace whilst we harvest our dark oak. And we shouldn't need too much, but just under 2 stacks should be plenty. So we'll just get this smelting, and we'll leave that to it for now. So whilst that's being left to smelt, we'll just go in with the dark oak that we've got. And we'll not do anything too fancy. Just do some semi-realistic barn door shapes, like so. And I'm going to do the exact same on this side. And I'll just do something like this on each one. There we go. And now whilst we're waiting for our nether brick to smelt, I just want to put another layer of dark oak signs wrapping around this block. Maybe we made too many signs, but oh well. There we go. So we've managed to put all the signs with a few remaining. And now, as soon as our nether brick smelted, we're just going to put a line of nether brick walls on the end of each door. So let's just go chase up our furnaces. And we should have plenty with that. Perfect. 6 remaining, which we'll just dump in our chest. There we go, we've got our doors. So now the next stage of the plan is to do this interior. So we've already got a basic roof shape and we can visualise what space we've got to work with. Now my idea is to have a long set of auto sheep farmers running down this side with a bit of a second walkway up here, and then just a couple of pens which we can use for cows, pigs and chickens over here. These won't be automatic, these will be manual, because realistically we don't need much of their produce. So we could just do with restocking a bit of spruce, and we'll start with the easiest bits, and that's the automatic pens and the floor layout. Okay, so layout wise, just visualising what space we've got to work with. Start off with our pens, I think. And realistically, they don't need to be that big because we don't have that many animals we need. So if we have maybe 3 by 3, just something simple like that, and we can just chuck them in each of these. Actually, I do have those eggs from earlier. Maybe we can get the chicken one started. So we've got 5 eggs and a dream. Well, that was rubbish. Okay, great. Okay, no worries. Oh well, just place some temporary lighting in here, just so we don't have anything spawn on us. So now I'm thinking of this. We're going to definitely utilise our stairs, and we'll do a similar design to what we've got going on everywhere else. And we'll utilise our mossy stone brick again. And I'm a very big fan of using oak trapdoors as a railing. So we're going to do that again just here, like so. Now in terms of this, we're just going to build up to an appropriate height, and that can be where our ladder will eventually sit. And we'll just bring that across to the middle, and we'll curve it around just here. And we've run out, but we'll take that along to the end. So we'll just quickly lay out this whole roof shape. There we go. I think something like this looks really nice. And eventually, we could put some roof beams in, and then we can get a nice bit of an interior design up here. But before we continue, we're just going to quickly sleep. I think we're definitely going to keep the sheep to last because that's going to be a complicated process. We'll also do the roof beams towards the end, so that we know what space we've got to work with. I think for now, we're just going to add a little bit of decoration around here, and get 2 of each animals. So because we've still got a lot of wheat and hay left in our chests, I'm going to actually grab some hay, which we can use as a bit of decoration in the corner. I'm also going to grab a little bit of acacia, because I've got a cool concept I'd like to do. So we could do with a quick browse to just see if we can see any animals. I've locked eyes on a cow and his friend. This brings back memories. Part of me wishes I didn't kill all of mine. There we go. Welcome to your forever home. And whilst I'm here, I'm just going to put a little haystack down here, just for a bit of decoration. Okay, it's pig time. I can see one, and there's a second in the distance, which is good. Ah, they don't follow wheat, do they? They follow carrots. Oh, dear. I think we've got a couple of carrots at home, but nothing major. But that might pose an issue in the future. There we go, now it's following. Oh, don't eat the carrot. We're getting there, slowly but surely. And again, welcome to your forever home. Look at them make love. Now, if I do remember correctly, when chopping my trees down earlier, I came across this ravine where there were a few. Yes! And they're all still here. Okay, maybe this isn't as difficult as I thought. Look, there we go. So we've got all of our animals sorted now. We've got a bit of decoration. Okay, so for an automatic sheep farm, as far as I'm aware, I'm going to need an observer, a dispenser, a hopper in a minecart, a chest, a piece of grass, a sheep, and the actual colour itself. So first things first, I'd like to lay out each of my cubicles, I think, with the right blocks. So with my mud brick walls that I've got from earlier, I'm just going to start taking a pillar down from each, just until we reach the end. There we go. And I know for a fact somewhere I already have plenty of chests. That's going to be a problem. I do not have enough iron for all these hoppers. So if I put a chest in each of these... Yep, I did my maths right, 13. Okay, there we go, we're starting to get somewhere. So we're going to need hoppers in all of these, and a hopper and a minecart above it, which means we're going to need a lot of iron. So I think the plan is to just head down to the mines quickly and grab enough to cover all of this and potentially future expeditions. Okay, I'd say that was pretty successful, and I'd just like to say I am so glad Fortune works on iron now, because that would have been a pain otherwise. We've got more than enough stacks of iron, which we're going to chuck in the smelters. We can dump all of these blocks we mined. So in the meantime, I'm going to go and chase up some sheep, because if we need 13 sheep, we better get breeding. Dye-wise, I know for a fact we've already got things like cactus, cocoa beans, quite a few flowers already in the chests, so we shouldn't have an issue with anything like that. But I'm just going to collect some because it's better to be on the safe side. And as long as I've got 2 sheep, I'll start a bit of a little pen, which I can just use to breed. Okay, I've managed to find 4, and we've built a little pen, just to temporarily breed them in until we have 13. There we go, so they're flying. I am just slightly cautious about how much wheat we've got though, because we're running very low. So I think we'll be able to obtain some of our iron now, which we can use to get started. Oh yeah, loads have smelted. I completely forgot you needed chests for hoppers. That means we're probably going to need even more wood. And these aren't cheap either, wow. Okay, we'll start off with 4 for now. Not quite sure how you make a dispenser actually. Oh, it's bows, aren't they? Tell you what, this just keeps getting harder. Well, that's a pain. And I believe observers are quartz, which I do have a little bit of. And we'll start by doing 4. Okay, so the first one. So hopper, 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 hopper. Rail, 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 rail. And we'll get our mine carts. And now, if I'm right in saying I can place my grass, like so, with our observers detecting the grass, so that when the sheep eats the grass, the observer detects it, and then the shears can be sheared. So redstone, 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 and then dispenser, 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 dispenser. I just wanted to get enough just to finish these pillars in this area, so I can just go across like these and strip them, and I'll just slap a couple of torches within each of these boxes. So now that these are all set up, the last stage is to actually put the sheep in and put the glass over it. Just going to grab my spare glass. Okay, so we've got 47 glass, so we're going to start off yellow, orange, red, and pink. So with the first one being yellow, we'll make 2 yellow dye, 1 for the sheep and 1 for the glass. And we'll go borrow a sheep, try let one of them out. That didn't work. Okay, so 2 of them wanted to come, so I guess one of them is growing up in captivity. Okay, this is much more of a nightmare than I thought. If we slowly just remove the amount of space that they've got to walk in, this should work. I'm feeling optimistic. Oh, is he going for it? Go on. Go on. Oh, why are both of them going in? Oh my gosh. Right, they're both trying to go in together, which is really annoying me, because that's not what I want. Come on. Yes! Right, that's 1 down. Oh, he's grown. Oh, wow, that was quick. So if you just do me a favour and go in this little box, just for a little bit, thank you. There we go. That's 2 down. I want to finish by just putting a bunch of signs over each one, just like so. Just to add a bit more of a beam effect. But now, I think the plan is, I'm going to go and do all of these, which is going to take me God knows how long. And then we can start working on the outside. And there we have it, we've finally finished all of our sheep. As you can see, we haven't got every single colour though. We are missing white, brown and purple. However, it's not the end of the world. Now then, I think it's time we sleep, do the reef beams, do a bit of interior design upstairs, and then this would conclude our barn. Okay, so I think for these wooden beams, I think the plan is, we're going to find an equal spacing, and we're going to do the same arch design over and over again with 1 long beam going down the middle. So starting off here, I think, I'm going to place 2 mud brick walls. Just going to grab a scaffolding block. Then we'll place a couple of logs on top. We'll strip them, and I will just place a torch on them. Place a crafting table up here for now. And then I'd like quite a few trapdoors, just to add to the gradient of curve a little bit. And I will actually place them across here. And then continuing up, I'm just going to follow the same pattern. Slowly but surely sloping it until we work all our way up to this middle bit here. Something like this. And then we can have our beam running through this and lanterns coming off the edge of it. So there we go, something like that. And I'm just going to quickly, can I make this jump? Nope. And repeat the exact same shape, but on this side. Perfect. So I'm just going to repeat this design every 5 blocks along. So here, here, and here. And then from there, we know what space upstairs we have to work with. And I think with what iron we have remaining, we're going to make a couple of chains and some lanterns to dangle down from here, so that we don't need these random torches. So we're going to need as many nuggets as possible, 4 lanterns, and 4 chains, I believe. And then if we remove these torches and replace them with a chain, lantern, chain, lantern, chain, lantern, and chain, lantern. Look at that, that's lovely. And I think for now, I'm just going to leave up here empty. And maybe in the future we'll revisit and put a nice big auto smelter or something here. But for now, our main focus has been concluded. And I think this is looking awesome. As the night goes dark, I think we're going to take a quick nap. And then we can start working on this area. And make the area around our barn look pretty. The next plan now is to actually terraform this area. So we're going to start by paving out an area for our path. And we're also going to sort the marsh out for the river. And fix that deep hole in there which leads to a cave. So without further ado, let's begin the time lapse. There we go, so we've cleared plenty of space out in and around the barn, in where we can terraform, we can put paths, trees, obviously a new field coming round here in this space. We've filled the hole, we've prepped the river, so now we're just going to go on a little tidy up mission. We're going to clear the granite block, perfect, much tidier, and now I'm just going to go and do all the marsh around the river. So I'm thinking we'll do it there on this side, around here on this side. So let's just quickly do that, and there we have it. We've finally finished the marsh for the other side. And we've wrapped it around the whole river. I'm getting slightly concerned about our shovel because we don't have mending on it, so we're going to have to figure that out somehow before we do too much more terrain. And we'll just keep on expanding the marsh as we progress our area. So we've finished the terrain, we've finished the marsh. Now we can get doing the path, the field, the trees, and any other additional details, whether it be bushes, maybe a little bee garden which could produce some honey. That could be nice if we have time in this episode. But first of all, I'd like to do the path, so that I can follow directions and I know where I'm going. Actually though, before I do this path, I've actually collated a few of my materials and I've realised I've got quite a few plantable things. So what I'm thinking of doing is creating just a couple of gardens. Excuse me mate, this wall's for private use only, pal. So I think first of all I'm going to do the one adjacent to the door, and I'd like to use for this my berry bushes, and utilising these flowers I'd like to get a couple of beehives set up. Okay, so I've got a pair of shears, and I believe if I shear a bee nest I get a couple of honeycomb, and I think we found our first one. So if I'm right in saying I can just go like that. Oh, they get angry though, they get angry. I've got my eyes on another. Just do that quickly and then run. I'm just going to quickly find 2 more. Right, I actually found 3 more, so that's more than enough. So now if I just grab my remaining mossy cobble, and I'm just going to go run and get some wood quickly. Right, okay, so we've got a bit of wood. We've got our honeycomb. So first of all, I want to craft my beehives. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 beehives. There we go. So make sure I've got plenty of space for this. And then we can have the path running through here. Just going to make a couple of scaffolds. So I think what we could do, we could place our 4 beehives on some scaffolds. And then after these beehives, I'm thinking a 3-block gap and a bit of a miniature wall. Just like so. Perfect. Okay, so here, I'd like my berry bush seeds. So I'm just going to cut all this grass up quickly. So we need 3 rows of 5. Okay, perfect. So we've got a little layout like this. I'd like to create a couple of spruce fences and quite a few trapdoors. I'm going to do a bit of a hanging design. So I'll place all of my fences here. Perfect. And then place my berry bush seeds here. Let them grow there. And I could do with some spruce leaves to go over them. We only need a humble 15. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. I did my maths wrong. And then I'd like to place my trapdoors over the top of these. There we go. So now I've got a little berry bush seed farm. I know it's tiny, but we don't really need many berry bush seeds. And then I'm thinking here, just a little table with maybe a campfire, which we can just put out on. Okay, perfect. So coming around here, I'm going to just lay out a little kind of path area again, ensuring I leave space for some flowers and greenery. There we go, so we've got a nice little loop coming round, which is perfect. So now I think I'm just going to bob back to the base quickly and grab some leaves and some grass, ferns, stuff like that which we had left over from our terraforming, and then just spice this place up a little bit. Yeah, so that's perfect. We've got grass, more grass, tall grass, a couple of ferns, and plenty of acacia leaves left. Very nice. So now let's just take our flowers. There we go. This is awesome. There we go, so we've got a lovely little garden which we'll be able to connect to the path soon. Now I'd like to do the side garden. This one will probably be a lot less detailed as we're going to do pumpkins and bamboo. So same as last time, I'm going to do a quick wall shape and then lay it out with a path. Okay, perfect, so we've got a nice little path layout now. So I'm thinking on this side we'll have bamboo and this side some pumpkins. There we go, so something like that. Nice. And I'm going to have to replace all of these blocks with coarse dirt, otherwise the pumpkins won't grow. Okay, so bamboo on this side would be good. Okay, perfect. So we've got our bamboo in, and that's growing very quickly. We've got our pumpkins placed. Okay, perfect. So now let's green this place up again like last time with our leaves, grass, and ferns. Just going to place one big bush on this side, and then the odd bush here and there on the other side. Like so. Just lots of random grass and ferns everywhere. So that's this garden done. So I'll just do it 4 out, and then the path can just swoop along. And then the usual of just making some shapes for our melons. And then like last time, we're going to have to put our coarse dirt where the melon will actually get placed. Perfect. And we're just going to grab our seeds and let them get growing. And then we'll just place our packed mud. And then same as always, we'll grab our grass, leaves, etc. Like on the other side, I'm going to place another one of them kegs just for a bit more decoration. Perfect. Perfect. So we've got all 3 gardens finished now. So we've got our bees and our berry bush seeds. We've got our melons. And we've got our pumpkin and bamboo. Okay, it's looking very good. And as you can see, I've also placed down a bit of wool from our sheep farm just to lay out a few pointers. So this grey wool wrapping around, that's going to be our main mud walkway. These line blocks are going to be trees. The yellow wool is going to signify the wheat field. Little orange one is where the carrots are going to go. So let's get started on the fields. So for the walls for our field, I'd like to use mossy cobblestone and tuff. However, as you can see, we are practically out of both these materials. So we're just going to make a quick trip to the mines in our moss farm. And we're going to obtain plenty of tuff and plenty of mossy cobble. Okay, so that should do us for a little bit. So the plan is to just do a rustic medieval style cobbled fence. And I plan on doing quite an uneven style shape, as if it is just a mess of cobble, just here, there, everywhere. So something like this wrapping the whole way round. I'm going to chuck bits of tuff into it, add a little bit of weathering. So we're just going to quickly do that around the whole field, signifying 2 different fields. And then we can start finally planting our crops. There we go, so there's one field down, and now just time for the carrot field. Right, awesome. So now we've got our fields laid out. We need to run a nice path all the way through it. And we need to get it set up with some farmland and some water sources. Let's go get all our coarse dirt and lay this path out. Shouldn't need too much. I'll get our spare dirt and our not so spare gravel. And that should make us a decent amount of coarse dirt. Just over 4 stacks, which should do the trick for now. So I'm thinking for this, I don't want it to be too wide, just enough to cover the ability to water through this field. So I've got all the seeds I've possibly got across all of my chests. I've got my hose, I've got some buckets, coarse dirt, and I've got 15 carrots, which definitely isn't going to fill a field. I'm just going to get some bone meal from our farm. I'm going to grow enough so that I can cover all the fields, and by using this I can keep growing our carrots until we've got enough to cover our field. If I just keep doing this, I'll be able to reproduce the amount of carrots I have very quickly until I can cover my whole field. Okay, so I've got just under 4 stacks, which should do us for now, and I'm adamant my 5 stacks of seed isn't going to cut it. But let's find out. Let's start the time lapse. There we go, so we've built our fields. And I think this is going to look really good once they've all fully grown. So as you can see, we greatly underestimated how many seeds we'd need. So we are going to have to wait for all these to grow, harvest them, plant them, replant them, keep on going until this whole thing is full. So we're going to leave these to grow, and whilst these grow, we're going to go get started on the path. So we're going to go collect some more resources, even more coarse dirt, some more mud, and then we can finally get doing this main path, which kind of just connects all of our little gardens, our barn entrance, the main road. And then once we finished our path, we can do our final terraforming, our trees, and then we've concluded this area. Okay, so we spent some time mass farming and bone mealing our wheat farm. And as you can see, we've got plenty of wheat now, which we can use for the mud for the path. We've crafted plenty of hay bales to cover our water sources, and we've got enough seeds to cover the entire field. So the plan is now to go and get our mud and craft a bunch of packed mud, and then we can start with this path. So we've got just over 5 stacks, which should do us from here to there. And I am quickly just going to chuck an additional diamond onto this shovel just so we can heal it a little bit. There we go. So for this, I'm just going to start by mining a shape out. There we go. So something like this, which makes it a lot easier for us to plan out where we want what. So I'm just going to follow the exact same as last time. I'm going to go in with a mud, and then I'm going to add the coarse dirt and then the mossy cobble. Okay, there we go. So we've got our basic mud shape. So now if we go and slap our coarse dirt and our mossy cobble in. There we go. So we've done this section now, and this is looking miles better already. By the time we've chucked some more foliage on this grass area and got our trees, this is going to look awesome. So I think now we'll do this side. We'll connect this side of the barn to the fields. There we go. So now, if we follow it around, we've got a whole path and a couple of pumpkins in the way, which lead us up to and from our fields, and all the way down from either side of the barn, back to what will be the main road. So that's our next mission, so let's go get that done. So we've finished this main road now, and this is looking really awesome. It's going to look so much better when we've got fields on this side, expanding all the way over there, maybe a farmhouse, a windmill, leading all the way up to the main village and a castle. But I'm really happy with this, how this is turning out. I think the next plan, then, now that we've got our whole path running the whole way through, is to add a bit of foliage and maybe some additional decorations, whether it be just simple barrels and pots, just to make this place look alive, and then we can finally put our trees in. So let's go get our foliage and just slap some of that in. Okay, so we're slowly getting there. Still got a lot more to do though. And then like the other side, we're just going to spam loads of grass, just like our starter area. Okay, there we have it. We've added plenty of foliage. So before I do the final stage of the trees, I'm just going to do a couple pieces, like pots, crafting tables, little kind of storage chests, stuff like that. Just kind of make the place look more active. Okay, this is looking so good. I'm really liking this. So now, the final job of this is to do the trees. So I'm thinking a mix of both birch and oak trees. So to do that, I'm going to get the exact materials from the trees over here. So let's quickly chop some of these trees down. Okay, so we've made a mess of this area, but we've got plenty of leaves and plenty of logs. We're going to go start with our oak trees. And I'm just going to do a variety of shapes. There we go. So there's tree number 1. And I think if we just keep swooping them round the side, I'm actually just going to beef it up down the bottom, just so it looks like the roots are embedding itself into the ground. There we go. So that's tree number 1 down. There we go. Tree number 2 complete. So I think you get the gist. I'm just going to go around. I'm going to build all of my oak trees. And then we'll come back, get our birch materials, build our birch trees, and then we're done. There we go. Look at this. This is looking awesome. So we've got a few different sizes of trees, ranging from small to big, wrapping along the whole way. I'm now going to grab some birch materials, and we're just going to chuck the odd birch tree here and there, just to add a bit more effect. First though, actually, I think we're just going to tidy this bit up. There we go. This is looking much better. We're just going to do the same now with birch. There we go. That should do us. And we'll just remove these logs as well. Alright, let's get these birch trees placed. There we go, we've got a really nice dense tree line outlining our barn. And if you'd like to see a tutorial on how to build custom trees, let me know down in the comments below. We've even got a professional tree inspector selling absolutely nothing but garbage. So there's only one thing to do with him. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you've enjoyed this more kind of building focused episode. Let me know what you'd like to see down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.